an amazing day here in Southern California. It's cool, it's overcast, and quite frankly, it is amazing. So, so I was getting ready for this chat. I know so many of you have already taken the Dragon Quiz. We've had over 2,000 people, and it was just released this week. Take our Dragon Quiz, knowyourdragons.com. And I know which one's the most common among the people that watch. And it's what we're going to talk about today. It's the responsible dragon. The responsible dragon. And this is often the dragon of doctors and nurses. It's the dragon of mothers. It's the dragon of people who feel responsible for others. But my goodness, if you don't take care to tame this dragon, it can ruin your life. I love when you say where you're from. On Facebook, we have people from Canada, and yesterday there were people from Greece and Italy. Just love that. The responsible dragon, and and your brain is always listening, coming out March 2nd. Section 1 is about the dragons from the past that still breathe fire on your emotional brain, causing us to feel stressed and anxious and depressed. And knowing which of the 13 dragons you have is just so important to being able to tame them. Now, people generally have more than one. In fact, the average for the people taking the test was 8. And so if you have more than one issue, clearly I have more. Tana has 10, I have 5. And this is one of my dragons. And for each dragon, we talk about their origin story, or how they came about, what triggers them, how they cause you to react. Is there an upside to the dragon? How to tame it, even what movies they like, and what meditations can help. And I just want you to think of your brain is always listening. It's like spending a year in psychotherapy with me. What are the big list issues that we're likely to tackle? And when it comes to the responsible dragon, this is the codependent dragon. This is the dragon where you take on other people and you risk making them dependent. And that's not a good thing. That can be a harmful thing. One of the things we really feel good about in raising Chloe, our daughter, is at 17 and a half, she just doesn't need us anymore because she feels competent. Now, she wants to be with us, but if I had done everything for her, or Tana had done everything for her, we wouldn't have raised a competent child. And I wish I would have known that decades ago, as I was helping my patients and even myself early on in parenting. I have 4. I wish I would have known, because I have a tendency to just want to take care of people. So the origin of this dragon is when you feel liable for the pain or situation of others, often because you felt powerless to help someone you cared about, such as a parent or sibling who is suffering. This is rampant during the pandemic, when hospitals would not allow family members to visit sick or dying loved ones, or you felt insignificant, and fixing other people's issues helped you feel significant. So, in my primary dragon, the abandoned, invisible, or insignificant dragon, clearly led me to want to be a doctor, to want to be significant, to help people. And as a doctor, I love that. I mean, it just totally fits who I am. But in your personal life, you can take on too much. And actually, when you do that, you can begin to breed resentment in other people. Um, it's all over the place with COVID. The oldest child in a family often feels a natural sense of responsibility for younger siblings. Um, so the origin is you felt powerless to help someone you cared about. The trigger is when you perceive others in need. So just driving down the street and seeing a homeless person with a sign often will trigger this dragon. Or an adult child calls and says, I need this or that, can trigger the dragon. And I'm all for helping kids, but I'm not for creating a sense of entitlement. How we react when this dragon breathes fire on our emotional brain, we want to fix things. We want to take care of other people. We can become codependent, which means we can fix things to the point where they're not fixing it themselves and creating a dependency or even a codependency. And there's a whole literature about that. But you also have to take the brain in mind. It's one of the unique spins I have on the world, is if their brain is healthy, then really help them be independent. If their brain is not healthy, fix the brain first, and then you can help them be independent. This dragon can cause you to do too much for other people, which literally can breed entitlement. What movies does this dragon like? Movies about healers, like Awakenings, Ordinary People. I love that movie. If you've never seen that movie, won the Academy Award, I think it's 1982. Spectacular. Mary Tyler Moore's in it, Judd Hirsch. Love that movie. The Doctor, Patch Adams. So when I became an infantry medic, for each of these dragons, I have how they relate to my own life. I was 18. I discovered a sense of significance to help tame my insignificant dragon. And as I felt responsible for the well-being of others over time, I realized if I did too much, it can create an unnecessary dependency, increasing everyone's stress. My wife, Tana, says, I want to save the world. When our nieces went into foster care, goodness, 5 years ago, at the time, my wife was estranged from her half-sister. Now, I knew we had to act. My responsible dragon made me feel very uncomfortable. And so Tana was like, there's addiction, there's craziness, you don't want to get involved. And I'm thinking of this 6-year-old and 11-year-old in foster care and being a child psychiatrist and having someone, I'm like, no, we need to figure out how to help. And it was the worst week of our marriage because she's like, no. And I'm like, but how could we not? And so my responsible dragon was causing trouble in our marriage. Now, we obviously eventually worked it out, and our 2 nieces live with us, and we adore them like they're our own children. And we offered help to the mom and dad, and they're better than they were. I actually dedicated the book up there, The End of Mental Illness, to the girls. It was, okay, they're loaded for mental illness, loaded. Family history of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, ADHD, depression, suicide, addictions, incarceration. And the idea behind The End of Mental Illness is, how do I end it in these girls and in their babies and grandbabies? So I'm really proud of that book. We're not talking about that book today. We're talking about The Responsible Dragon. So in taming these dragons, I always talk about, well, do you recognize it in yourself? I certainly recognize it in me. Is there an upside? Like with the shouldn't shaming dragon, the upside is, of course, there are things you shouldn't do. What can you learn from the dragon? And the responsible dragon, there's a lot of upside. As you get to help, you get to be in charge, you get to have others who feel grateful to you. You also get to be part of a community that you're creating. Good deeds reduce physical pain. Helping others is altruistic, but it also helps you, right? By doing good, you feel good. All right. So how do you tame it? Realize when you're doing too much for others, and that can create dependency, codependence, and bitterness. And so you want to do enough so that there's like a net under them, but not too much where they cling to you and put too much stress on you. And this is from a parenting standpoint. I love the program Parenting with Love and Logic. I mean, I love it so much that we're now the worldwide distributors for Parenting with Love and Logic, because basically it teaches kids responsibility, so that you can tame this dragon and help them be competent. You have to realize that self-care is not selfish. And I think about this every time I'm on a plane, that they always say, right as you get on the plane, you know, if the cabin pressure goes down and the masks come down from the ceiling, put your mask on first before you put on your children's mask or someone else's mask, because if you don't take care of yourself, there will be nothing left. You won't be around to take care of them. So self-care is essential. And too many moms don't practice this, especially moms with handicapped kids. They end up doing everything for the kids and they lose their marriages, or they get depressed, or they lose their sense of themselves because they don't put self-care. And it's biblical, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, how do you help anyone else? Healthy boundaries, so important. And evaluate the other people in your life. There's a wonderful book from my friend John Townsend called People Fuel, and he lists 7 different kinds of people in your life. And if you're unbalanced, you have too many chronics, as he called them, people you're just taking care of, you're not going to do well. You won't be emotionally or physically healthy. So the categories are coaches, people who are your mentors; comrades, your very close friends and loved ones. So be my wife and my siblings; casual, so your friends, colleagues, coworkers; chronics, they always have an issue. And you know these people, they're probably in your life. And contaminants, they actually have the desire to damage other people. they're really controlled by their angry dragon. And it's okay to put boundaries around them. Not too many chronics in your life. And the contaminants, I move on. I don't allow them into my life if at all possible. That, you know, if I know somebody's out to damage me, I'm not spending any time with them, and I'm not going to try to fix them. I mean, it's just not going to do it. Affirmations. Here are affirmations to deal with the responsible dragon. Loving others as myself means taking care of myself so I can love others. I love helping others as long as I'm helping them become competent and independent. It is better to give than receive, as long as giving does not create unnecessary dependency. I share the load with others so I don't become overburdened or burned out. I do what I can and trust others to God's care, because you can't do more than you can. And if you're not taking care of yourself, how do you ever take care of others? So I hope you found this helpful. Comes from Your Brain is Always Listening, out March 2nd. A couple of things you can know about your dragons, knowyourdragons.com, and it's like 6 minutes. Take the questionnaire. We'll tell you which of the 13 dragons, or how many of the 13 dragons that you have. I gave it to my friend who's the chief of police here locally. He had the responsible and judgmental dragon, and he said, totally fits a police officer. I love that. You can pre-order the book, and if you do, I have 4 free gifts for you, and you can learn about them at yourbrainisалwayslistening.com. One of the gifts is a special event with me just for people who pre-ordered the book, where I will answer your questions. I'm pretty excited about that. It's March 17th. And you also get a coupon for a free bottle of Happy Saffron, my favorite supplement. And you want to do that soon, because they're telling me they may run out of bottles of Happy Saffron. So many people are getting them. yourbrainisалwayslistening.com. And you can sign up for a free event. I'm going to do February 9th, 5 o'clock Eastern time for 90 minutes, where I'm going to go live and I'm going to give my first formal lecture on Your Brain is Always Listening. Pretty excited. I've been working on it for a long time. You can invite your friends and family. So if you go to yourbrainisалwayslistening.com/event, you can sign up. Space is limited, but I just dearly be grateful if you can. All right. Have a great day. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about a very interesting dragon. It's called the Special Spoiled and Entitled Dragon, often created by responsible dragons that did too much for other people. Take care.